6:15 for the public hearing. So we're already a little bit late. Where's the rest of our members?
There was a little bit of a bathtub at the bathroom, so.
Well, we're missing John. Where is he? Okay. And if you need to go, just go. We'll start a couple of minutes late. We're going to start just a couple of minutes late.
All right, I'm sorry.
John. All right. We have the council members. We have the administrator. All right. I'd like to call to order the public hearings. The first public hearing is on ordinance O-25-11, an ordinance of the Town Council of Chesapeake Beach, Maryland, clarifying that the provisions of Chapter 200 Property Maintenance, Section 200-1, Existing Structures, Maintenance and Repairs, and Section 200-3, Sanitary Maintenance, prohibit accumulations of static water and other conditions that contribute to mosquito breeding. Anybody have any comments on any of this? All right. We will move on to the second ordinance. This is relating to critical area. Ordinance O-25-12, an ordinance of the Town Council of Chesapeake Beach, Maryland, amending the Town Code, Chapter 290 zoning. Article 4, overlay and floating districts, Section 290-17, critical area overlay district, and Section 290-18, growth allocation, and Article 11, definitions. Can you shut that door, please? Didn't get shut.
I get it.
Okay. Section 290-18, growth allocation, and Article 11, definitions, Section 290-44, critical area definitions, all to conform to the Town Council's critical area program to the requirements for the Maryland Critical Area Commission. When we get down to vote on this, will you have some comments for us?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions or comments at this particular time?
Mr. Mayor, I have a bunch of questions about
Sure.
this. I don't know if now's the time you want to do this or you want to do it later when we're considering it. I mean, we could do it later. I just want to make sure that I can ask my questions.
Of course, you'll be able to ask your questions, and actually, why don't we just reserve this time for the public to speak? And then if you kick her, then she'll kick me when we get to the meeting. Don't
Bruce.
kick her. Yes.
I would like to ask if she received the public comment that we all received. Okay,
Okay.
so maybe,
You have some public comment that you want to share with us? Speak to?
Sure. I can speak to the public comment that was received. The concerns expressed in the public comment largely relate to the legal changes that were made to the law. And so with regard, we'll talk about the growth allocation numbers later, but with regard to the wetlands question, that is what the state law does, is forces that to be a transfer of development rights. So I can provide you, I have a summary if you want, of what the law does from Critical Area Commission, and you can see this in here if you want me to provide that to you.
Sure.
I just left one in the back. So if you look on page 2, under density, it says private wetlands in the RCA may only generate density for the TDR program. And that addresses that comment right there. So the concern that that is what the law is doing is accurate. That's what the law is doing. That's what the state determined the law would do. And then we'll talk about growth allocation next. And then as far as critical area map adjustments, that is just that's the critical area program. So the map adjustments do need to go to the critical area commission.
Okay. Anybody in the public have any questions or comments? All right. Move on to the next public hearing. This is Charter Amendment Resolution CAR-25-3, a resolution of the Town Council of Chesapeake Beach, Maryland, amending Section C-303 meetings of the town charter to delete the time specified for the commitment of town council meetings to allow the mayor to determine the time of commencement. And so what we're doing is the start times were codified, and what we have been doing as a practice is starting earlier so that we're not here till midnight. And so the work sessions are going to start at 6 p.m. on the second Tuesday of each month. And the town council meetings will start at 6:30 p.m. unless there's a public hearing, such as there is tonight, at which time we will start the public hearing in time to end before the town council meeting starts. And so tonight we've allocated 15 minutes for these 3 public hearings. We're going to actually probably be done with that a little bit early. And then we'll start the regular public meeting at 6:30. So that's that. And the council have opportunity to make their comments and questions at the time that we bring this up to adopt it. So for the moment, I'll adjourn the meeting, the public hearing, and we will reconvene at 6:30 p.m. And thank you very much. Let's go get a drink. On his turn. I'd like to call to order the town council meeting for August 21st, 2025. And we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm going to ask our town attorney to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Next item of business is the approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion for approval?
Motion to approve?
Second?
I'm sorry. I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda. Real simple, nothing, crazy. Just want to add, council lightning round as the, charter does have that in there as a, when it outlines the way the agenda should go, it does explicitly call out a lightning round at the end. So just in the spirit of conforming with the charter, I'd like to make a motion to add that. I guess right before adjournment,
Or right before public comment or right before adjournment?
whichever, I don't
I don't know.
really
What do you
care.
think's better?
Probably right before adjournment.
All right. Is there a second?
Second it.
I have something as well. So is that it? So I have to do another amendment?
Let's vote on that
Mhm.
amendment.
I have a question.
Well, okay.
Is this a permanent motion? Because you could add it to the charter amendment. Or is it just for this time?
I think this is an administrative thing that we can just work with Ms. Sharon to add moving forward because the charter already calls it out.
Yeah, this motion is just for tonight.
Okay.
All right. We have a motion, and a second. Any other questions? All in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Okay. Is there now a motion to amend or accept the amended agenda?
I have an amendment as well, or a point of clarification.
Okay.
Number 3 under new business.
Okay.
Didn't we approved up to 25,000 without council approval? So do we still need number 3 under new business? To approve $13,275 for the treatment plant?
Actually, my notes indicate that I have the authority to approve that without a vote. So that's what we will do when we get to that item.
Okay, so we,
Okay.
okay,
Thank you for clarification.
yes.
Anything else from the council? Okay, can we now approve the agenda?
Motion to approve amended agenda.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. All right, it is time for public comment on anything that's on the agenda. State your name and tell everybody who you are and
Chris Martinez,
Okay.
Resident Chesapeake Beach. Thank you for the opportunity to make public comment, specifically as it concerns agenda item 14, which is, and I quote, "Town Council to approve appointment of Daniel Duvall to the Town Council." In accordance with this evening's agenda and section Charlie 614 of the town's charter, tonight the council will vote on Mr. Duval, the current council's nominee, to fill a vacant town council position with the majority vote required. Before doing so, and in the spirit of preserving the town council's credibility and reputation, it's important that I highlight a possible procedural error that may have created an unfair nomination process that potentially gave Mr. Duval a disproportionate advantage over other candidates. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to discuss 5 topics to present this case. First, I'll introduce 5 facts that led to the possible procedural error. 2, I'll highlight how this possible error created an unfair appointment process. 3, I'll discuss how the error can be perceived by the public, the county, and the state. 4, I'll list potential options for the council and their associated risk. And finally, I'll request your action for the error. Fact number 1, on 2 July, on 2 July 2025, the town sent an email to residents announcing a town council vacancy and requirements and procedures to apply for the position. That is your procedure. Please reference Exhibit A my son Preston just gave you. Let the record show I provided the town council members a copy of that email. Fact number 2, as you can see highlighted in yellow, the second requirement states, and I quote, "Statement of interest, provide all contact information and resume. Please include any relevant information." B and C, please. Fact number 3, on 11 August 2025, the town uploaded a PDF agenda to the town website titled, quote, "August 12, 2025, Work Session Council Vacancy Process Agenda Packet." Fact 4, the packet had only an email from Mr. Duval with the subject line stating, "Town Council Vacancy Application." That email clearly was Mr. Duval's statement of interest, but there was no resume included or attached. Mr. Duval did not submit a resume, or if he did, it was not put in the agenda. Please reference Exhibit B my son Preston just gave you. Let the record show I provided the town council members Mr. Duval's town council vacancy application. That did not include a resume. Fact 5, the packet included the resumes from 5 of the 6 applicants. Of note, there was no resume from Mr. Duval. Please reference Exhibit C my daughter Riley just gave you, and let the record show I provided the town council members the resumes of the other 5 candidates. Council members, you can clearly see the resumes of the other 5 applicants. This may have created an unfair appointment process. These 5 facts potentially had a significant impact on Mr. Duval's nomination by creating 2 conditions that made the procedure unfair. First, Mr. Duval did not meet your requirements by failing to submit a resume. He should not have been allowed to interview for the town council position. He didn't complete the application in its entirety, yet he was still allowed the interview. This is unfair. Let me ask all of you who have ran for office a rhetorical question. If your opponent did not meet the published requirements to make a ballot, yet they were still put on the ballot and ultimately won, would you think that's fair? Second, let's assume for a moment Mr. Duval did submit a resume, but because of a clerical error, it was not included in the agenda. Either way, the absence of his resume gave him a disproportionate advantage in the interview process. In summary, for his preparation, he was armed with all the other applicants' professional background, but none of the other applicants were afforded the opportunity to review his professional background in their preparation. This is also unfair. Let's paint a full picture here with 4 backdrops on how this may be perceived by your constituents, the county, and the state. First backdrop, I notified the town council via my public comment tonight that this was possibly an unfair appointment process. Second backdrop, the first question given to applicants was, and I quote, "In considering your qualifications for this role, please explain what sets you apart from the other applicants." So I have to ask the town council, rhetorically, is this really a fair question when 5 of the 6 candidates couldn't see the resume of one of the applicants, particularly the applicant who was nominated and is minutes away from getting voted on the town council tonight? How can any candidate compare themselves to a candidate who didn't submit their resume? In hindsight, the five of us who did submit our resume should have answered what sets us apart from Mr. Duval is that we met the requirements to interview before the council tonight, and he did not. Third backdrop. After Mr. Duval interviewed last Thursday, every member of the council is on record for having a relationship with him, even crediting him for getting elected. Fourth backdrop. Just look at tonight's agenda where it says town council to approve appointment of Daniel Duval to the town council, as if it's a foregone conclusion. It should probably say town council to vote on the appointment of Dan Duval to the town council. Please reference Exhibit A my son Preston just gave you. Let the record show I provided the town council members a section of tonight's agenda. If you stack these four backdrops against the facts and unfair appointment process it created, you have to ask yourself if it would stand up to third-party scrutiny of your constituents, the county, and state, or could it be perceived as possibly quid pro quo? Let me take some of the guessing game out of the equation for you. After the live stream of last Tuesday's interviews were posted, somebody, presumably a town resident, with a handle of Moontrack4625, posted, and I quote, "He lost," and he was referencing Dan's loss in last election. But he did run in the recent election. Is this what made the board members and the mayor pick him? Seems somewhat exclusionary to the other citizens who threw their name in the ring. He spoke. Finally, I give you an additional backdrop, a bonus one. In 2028, this town will have to undergo significant election reform that the county and state will likely execute significant oversight. I have to ask the council, again rhetorically, if Mr. Duval is voted on and appointed tonight after I brought this matter up to your attention, how would this reflect on the integrity of how we administer appointing and electing our officials? Let me give you some options. It's not in my nature to present a problem without solutions and associated risk with those solutions. I see three possible ways ahead. First, you vote on Mr. Duval tonight. But let me remind you, your options are not just to vote yay or nay. Your options are yay, nay, or abstain. If based on the preponderance of the evidence I presented tonight, you can see where this appointment process can be viewed as unfair, a vote of nay or abstaining would maintain the integrity of the council. And let me also point out yourself. Risk. If you vote yay, the oversight body is calling into question the integrity of how we appoint and elect officials in the future, which is not something we want walking into a season of election reform in 2028. Option number two, you pause, you take a deep breath, you conduct an internal inquiry, which I promise you will confirm my findings, and then you think about a methodical and pragmatic way to address the concern I brought to you tonight. There's some risk. The council will maintain their integrity, credibility, and trust among the constituents as they address the matter in a transparent fashion. Transparency, which all of you ran on, to include Mr. Duval last election. However, this will inevitably take time the council will have to operate with only 5 members. Option number 3, the facts and evidence were presented and are in front of you right now. The council can make a motion to vote on the nominee who came in second last Tuesday. There's risk. Although I could personally benefit from this option, Mr. Duval could possibly potentially do his own due diligence and raise procedural concerns as well, just like I'm doing tonight. But I'm confident, after what I presented to you this evening, I'm on the right side of this town's history tonight, and it's your choice to join me. I request your action. If you think this is about personal ambition or gain, you're wrong. This is about all the council members maintaining the trust of the town's people. Additionally, it's about your personal and collective integrity, credibility, reputation, and character when it comes to matters of appointing and electing town officials as we head into the 2028 election, a season of reform in the eyes of the county and state. Short of the mayor, I have met all of you. And although I do not have the same personal relationship that you have with Mr. Duval, I know you are all men and women of character and integrity. Some of you have even worn the same cloth of our nation that I have, and I still do. But all of you took an oath on December 19th, 2024, where you swore, and I quote, "I will do the best of my skill and judgment, diligently and faithfully, without partiality, or prejudice, execute the office of town councilman according to the Constitution and laws of this state." By taking this oath, you swore to choose the harder right instead of the easier wrong. Don't let your sense of loyalties, obligation, and partiality to an individual cloud your judgment to doing the harder right instead of the easier wrong tonight. Think deep, think real deep. Tonight, you may believe you're making a vote for transformation in the short term, but in the long term, you're at risk of being perceived as making a vote for corruption in the eyes of the townspeople and in 2028 in the eyes of the county and state. Council members, you cannot turn a blind eye to your own procedures. That will be a stain on the fabric of this council. We will not be able to get out, and one you don't want your fingerprints on. Finally, in closing, I humbly request the town council move tonight's agenda item 14, which is the voting of the town council vacancy, to agenda item 5. This places the vote immediately after my public comment when the town council members are fresh and have all the facts and evidence in front of them. You also have an email I sent around 10 after 6 tonight that has a copy of the charter. It's pretty thick to dig through. Preston's going to hand you Charlie 614 that just kind of outlines what the process is. And it also has the full agenda from last week's meeting, town council meeting. So thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to comment, and I am grateful for your consideration this evening.
Thank you. Or is there any other public comment on any item on the agenda? Hearing none. Is there a motion for approval of the minutes of the July 17th, 2025 public hearings?
Motion to approve.
Or second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Is there a motion for approval of the minutes of the July 17th, 2025 town council meeting?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Is there a motion for approval of the minutes of the August 12th, 2025 town council work session?
Motion to approve. Hey, are y'all here?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Second. Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. All right. At this time, item 8 is special presentations. It is Chris Smith, a candidate for the Planning and Zoning Commission. Chris, if you would like to come to the podium and speak for about 5 minutes or less. Welcome.
First, this is my second round doing this with the previous town council, so I'm gonna give you.
Thanks, Chris. Teacher.
So, again, my name is Chris Smith. I've been a town resident since 2018, where I moved from North Beach. I've been in the area now for coming up on 12 years. So, love the area. Both my kids, 8 and 12. Again, I'm not sure. You see right there, I live at 4010 13th Street. I'm a firefighter in Alexandria. I've been doing that since 2010. I've been part of the, I'm a hazmat specialist for the state of Virginia. Been there for about since 2012. With Kathleen's resignation from the planning and zoning, there was a special election back in November, December to put me on, and her appointment was up. So I've really been enjoying what I've been doing. So I know sometimes it can be a thankless job, and a lot of time and due diligence and stuff like that. But I really enjoy being part of the community and getting to see the ins and outs of what happens with the planning and zoning and the integral part that makes up your jobs too. So I would appreciate your vote of confidence, and I would enjoy continuing my time on planning and zoning.
Thank you very much. Anybody got any questions?
I have one question.
Yes, go ahead, Eric.
Just have one question.
Sure.
We also have in our packet, we also received a flattering recommendation from Cindy Gold or Green Gold. Just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
part of the information to be considered. But my question is, planning and zoning is an important, probably one of the most, if not the most important commissions that we have. And does a lot of governing and gives recommendations on development and everything for the town to the council for us to make decisions and everything. So it's really important. And so my question is just very simply, what is your vision? What is your overall vision for the future of the town as far as development goes?
As far as development goes, again, being relatively new to any sort of, like planning and zoning, I've never been part of anything like that. So I'm still getting my feet wet, I guess, a little bit. As far as I see how the town goes, I mean, we have a lot of development here. We have a lot of wetlands here. We have a lot of things that I'm perfectly happy with, I guess, looking into the information and providing what is best for our town. I really like the beauty of our town. I would hate to see, I guess I'm not opposed to development, I guess, is like, if that's what you're asking. But
I'm not asking that. I'm just asking for your vision.
my vision is keep our town beautiful the way it is. I mean, I absolutely love our town. I plan on spending the rest of my life here. So I absolutely love where we live at. I love our elementary school is right across the street from me. I love all the amenities that we have. I love everything that makes our town us. So as far as a vision, I haven't thought that far ahead as far as seeing what our town's going to look like in 25 years. But I love our water park. I love a lot of the things that makes us. And yeah, I'm excited to be part of it. So.
Yeah, definitely appreciate your work. I know Lori and I served on that commission, and
Yeah.
it's very time consuming.
Yeah, it
So,
can be. Yeah, it's you want to get a lot done, but sometimes you're stuck on
Yeah, like
something so
signs
wild,
and
like
signs
signage.
and backyard chicken.
like signage. Yeah,
Signs and backyard chickens,
yeah,
right?
signs and backyard chickens has been the topic of discussion since I've been there. So yeah,
Amy, you-
Yeah, so I just had a quick comment. So I'm a supporter of you as well. Like I saw your when you presented the last time you came up and spoke. So I do support you coming back into this. The reason why I voted in favor of having you come here and actually have asked behind the scenes, just so everybody's tracking, as these positions come up for reappointment, there is not an opportunity for other residents in the town to be aware of them, that they're being appointed, and then that there's a vacancy. So the question I have was really just more around how do we continue to bring more people into the fold of wanting to be on these committees, and it's not just the same. And this isn't against you; it's just purely just the same people over and over and over again. And I have that same point of view on all the positions elected and appointed across the board. So, but I appreciate you coming back up and sharing your resume as well.
thank you so much.
And I just want to ask you one thing, Chris. Well, two parts. What have you been enjoying with what you've been doing? And where do you see that things can get better?
I enjoy boring things. So
Okay.
and I'm not saying planning and zoning is boring,
Mhm.
but there's for a lot of people, I think there's a lot of tedious, a lot of things that you have, a lot of details.
It's not a fire.
Yeah, it's not a fire. No.
Right.
No, I get that at work. So here it's a nice break. I'm with a great group of people, I feel like, that are on the planning and zoning. Yeah, just I love being part of that and being a part of the community that I'm living in, and being able to make and be part of, and also see, as you talked about earlier, because a lot of people don't see what's going on behind the scenes. And I think making all that stuff as public as possible so everyone can have an idea of what's going on in their city governments town governments is very important. So
Right. And any place for improvement that you can see? Anything that you think can be better or
I feel like
that
there's
we can help
always,
with?
yeah, there's always, place for like improvement. So, signage is going to get a whole lot better soon. So I hope.
Mhm.
But as far as specifics of the town, I'm a huge advocate for crosswalks. So I'd like to see more of those. I'd like to see, you're going to get me going down a road where it's going to be hard to turn around. But yeah.
But that's where your vision comes from.
Absolutely.
You taking care of
Yeah.
that.
No, I mean,
Okay,
that was a
crosswalk,
big
there
reason.
you go.
That was a big reason why I
Yeah.
got part of it. So
Yeah.
yeah, walkability is a big thing for me
Mhm.
in this town. Making it accessible for all the neighborhoods in our community, so it is walkable, so people can get to the amenities, into the restaurants, into the places that we have in there, so everyone can have the accessibility.
Yeah, there's a committee for that too, right?
I do know. Yes, I do.
All right.
One thing at a time. So.
Thank you very much.
I'd just like to comment, this is the first time I've met or spoke to you, but I do stay in contact with my planning and zoning colleagues, and they describe you as thoughtful and poignant and helpful. So I think you're a great choice.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, moving along. Next item on the agenda under petitions and communications is the town administrator report. Amelia?
The town administrator's report was submitted as a part of the town council meeting agenda package. So I'm just going to highlight a couple of things. So first of note is that the Beach Elementary School tennis/pickleball courts are nearing completion, and they should be ready for play by the end of the month. Yay.
Yay, Laura. Good
Yeah.
job. Good job. And Jamie, everybody else that was involved. Yes, everybody in the council support. So this is a big win for the community. Thank you for that. Didn't think of it. That's why you're sitting there.
All right. Next of note is the activity with Richfield Station. And so the town administrator, town attorney, town engineer, public works superintendent, and the planning and zoning administrator all met with the developer and his representation a number of times. And after our last meeting, there were a number of positive developments regarding the sections of unpaved road leading to Block S. So it's more detailed in the report, but just wanted to flag for everyone that the agreement is under legal review by both the town attorney and the developer's attorney, so that we can move forward addressing the sections of road that have not been paved leading to Block S, and as well as the next steps with re-administering their public works agreement. The next item of note is that the town has procured a training platform for the planning and zoning commissioners to receive formal training. And that will be available for our planning and zoning commissioners who have opted in starting in September. And the idea is that the work of planning and zoning is so critical to preserving the character of the town, and many people come to the role without having formal training. And so there was a great training platform identified by our planning and zoning administrator, and the town procured that. It's not mandatory at this time, but the majority of our planning and zoning commissioners have opted in to receive the training. And lastly, I want to invite our town planner up to the podium to discuss the alleyway lot line adjustment survey that's coming and the implications that will result from it.
Thank you. Yes, we have some residents who are between 15th and 16th Street, and there is an alleyway that goes between those two properties. And they have approached the town about having the town abandon that alleyway and move forward with that. And staff has been going through the process. And our public works superintendent is supportive of the idea. And we need to ask those residents to go out and pay for a lot line adjustment survey. And so before we do that, I wanted to just ask if there are any major concerns or major questions that I should pose to the residents or answer before we have them invest a sum of money. You can't commit to anything.
No,
I
I
just
have
want to
at
make
least
sure
one
that if there's
question.
any big red flags that I know about them ahead of time.
So I know that this is not the only one of these alleyways that people are requesting abandonment for. Or that they might eventually
Yes.
request abandonment
Mhm.
for. So do we run the risk of having to abandon all of them to be uniform? Because that would be a concern.
Yes, that is a great question. And because you were on the Planning and Zoning Commission, you might remember that the comprehensive plan actually addresses alleyways. And that was one thing that we looked at with this alleyway specifically, because the comprehensive plan says we need to look at the alleyways for potential future walkability connections, for any potential future needs from public works, anything else the town might need them for. And so that was one of the things that staff identified is, does this specific alley relate to any of those issues? And it does not. So that's why I don't think, I mean, legally, we need to defer to the attorney, but I don't think abandoning one when we have the procedures in place and the reasons would necessitate abandoning all. But she's nodding, so I was right.
Other question?
Yeah. So as far as the town is concerned, what are the reasons that we would want to abandon it?
So this has come up many times over in different reasons. So there are some alleys, and I also wanted to include when we sat and talked that it shouldn't just be one entity, Public Works or Planning and Zoning or someone that comes together and says, yes, the town wants to do it. Like, so we want sidewalk committee, want different levels of review. But my biggest thing is there are alleys in town that the town taxpayers spend a lot of money on tree removals and that only benefit two residents, right? So they call us when, hey, this tree's on your property, it's dead, gonna fall. We go out and we legally own it. And yet they're the only person at the end of that piece of property, or their neighbor, for example, is. So there's been a lot of requests. And so I look at it, what has the town spent? How many people does it benefit? Is it a through alley? Then I think that's off the table. These are kind of what I'm going to call paper dead end alleys. And due to the contours, you'll never be able to feasibly walk through, drive through. So there's a lot of review, but in this particular case, we've spent almost $15,000 in the last 9 years removing trees that only a few people benefit from the alley, but yet everyone's paying to remove the trees. I see it. We can give away that land. I don't see ever needing it for anything. And it's really a liability in my point of view, in this specific case. Other cases are different.
So would there be like a checklist or something that we could develop to just make it outwardly fair about how we assess each one of these alleys?
Yes, I think when we formally bring the request to you, we can have a memo that is outlining everything, and we can create a checklist to go into that to move forward with.
Right, something uniform that we could use for every single alley that might come before us.
Right.
So that we can be uniform about how we treat.
It's just a matter of writing down
assessment,
what we
yeah.
did, yes, and we can definitely do that so that when you look at this one, you have that in front of you and you'll be able to use it moving forward.
I would be interested in Alyssa's thoughts because, property is worth money and, I would be interested to know. No, later's fine.
And if I could add to that, I do think you never know who's sitting where, when, right? I think it should come with a letter from some documentation, Public Works point of view, engineers point of view, sidewalk, everything. Every entity has weighed in with their opinion. But ultimately, the way I understand it, we could bring it, but it would come to a vote from the council.
Right, so it's going to be the residents asking you to abandon this alleyway to them, but staff is going to provide you with a report. And I want to be considerate of the residents of Chesapeake Beach. And so I don't want to say to these residents, go get this expensive survey and then find out you guys are completely against abandoning any alleys. And I asked them to spend money that they didn't need to. So
Right.
I realize no commitments are possible, but that is why I wanted to flag it for you all.
So for me, I'm not against abandoning any alleys, provided that that's the legal advice
Right.
and the practical advice, and there's a system for assessing them.
Yes.
But I am against abandoning all alleys.
Well, and that's in contrast to the comprehensive plan. So I don't think it would be easy to do.
I want to throw out one more thing just for the council. and I'm sorry, Sarah, just so we're on the same page. There are some alleys that have nothing. There are a lot of alleys in town that we have infrastructure, water and sewer. So of course they're off the table. Even though I call them a paper alley, they don't exist with the road. If we have any infrastructure, storm drain, water, sewer, they cannot come on the table. So these alleys have no town utilities, if you will, no right of ways for BG&E. They're just what I'm going to call paper alleys.
Gotcha.
And the one below that, that's the same street? Is that different?
That's
Same but different?
a different situation.
Okay,
I think we're not quite there with that one yet.
okay. Thank you.
Just one more thing. I'm not opposed to abandoning alleys that, don't benefit the town and are just a burden of cost. But I do have one question. Is this prime chicken coop land?
Oh, I don't know. I think it would not work for chicken coop because it would be in the setback.
Are there relevant questions? Relevant questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the town administrator's report is done.
Well, I do have on the Richfield Station progress. That sounds like real progress. So thank you for your work, Mr. Mayor and Samelia. Appreciate that. I run into people every week who want to talk about that. So I thank you a lot for doing due diligence and getting movement there.
Well, and hopefully you've got good things to talk to them about. And saying that this council is moving forward with an issue that's basically been stagnant for almost a decade. So I appreciate your comment a whole lot. We're working hard to make this happen.
And I'm also happy to see progress on the rental program. I think that'll be very beneficial to the town as well.
Great. We move now to the town treasurer's report. Our treasurer is not here. Were you going to go over the report, Samelia?
Submitted. And so if you have any questions that I cannot answer, I'm happy to share with him.
You've got the report, the written report in your packet. Anybody have anything for the public to mention out of the treasurer's report? Okay, we'll just move forward. Thank you. Public Works. I bet we've got something to say about Public Works. We always do. Jay, what's going on?
I just want to make notable, I mentioned in the work session, we had 3 water main breaks in Richfield on Eagle View. We finished today some proactive exploratory looking down the street to see if there's similar conditions, and they are, which is not good news. I'm going to do a little bit spot checking, going back in the records and seeing when certain phases were built. But similar to the first part of Richfield Station, proactive saddle replacements, I think as we get into the back of that neighborhood, we're going to be in the same boat. I just don't want any surprises. I'm doing some more research. I'm going to come up with streets, saddles, and a way to look at this proactively. And I also did some exploratoring in Bayview Hills, which was same time frame, same type saddles, and we have a few that are same condition there. So I want to do a little more research. I want to get a detailed report and tell the council where we're at, how we look at it, and the best plan moving forward.
And fundamentally, this problem was caused by the material that was used for those saddles. Is that not correct?
It's that I want to share, we can either send it directly, but we did a PowerPoint in the last administration. I paid some third-party people to come out. So there's a couple things. We had from 94 on a bad run of cast iron, which these saddles were made out of, inferior product. We have diatomaceous soil, which can make copper laterals and cast iron turn into an actual battery. So it makes the weakest component, the anode, which is a saddle. And there's also underground power that's not insulated. So it's picking up static, if you will, on the copper laterals, and it travels to the end. We hit plastic C900, has no way to keep going. So it also eats at the
That helps a
saddles.
lot because I'm even during the previous administration, I saw all the notices where all of this work was going on, particularly in Richfield Station. I'm going, why are we doing this? And that explains it. So thank you, Jay.
Sure. And the only good news is the heritage and the tail end of Chesapeake Village, we were able to understand what was happening even at that Burnley level. So those neighborhoods won't have this problem in the future, but unfortunately Bayview Hills and Richfield were kind of built in the same time frame, and it is what it is.
No,
So I
thank-
just don't want any surprises. One day I'm gonna come in here and say, I need help.
Right. Well, thank you for that clarification.
Sure. And if there's any other questions or anything out there, I'll take them.
Do you have an update on the water meter, being able to read it online?
As far as
Just,
the tower read system,
no,
where
like the customer portal?
Simelia may be able to answer that better
Yeah,
than me,
it
because I
said
know we're
scheduled.
Are you going back to the town administrator's report?
Yeah, so we're gonna get an administrative demo at some point. Is that how that's gonna work?
I'll speak to it even though we're not in that section.
Well, it's somewhat related to the water meter.
Yeah, so we had a demo yesterday where Aquahawk is the company, and they were able to show us what the customer portal would look like and what the administrative portal would look like. And this allows residents to log on and monitor their own water usage. It allows them to set up notifications based off of the cost of what the estimated bill would be. So if you say, I don't want to spend more than $250 in a quarter, you can set up a notification that tells you when you're nearing that. So you can monitor it from your own financial record keeping standpoint and bill management, but you could also set it up for gallon indicators. And so you can say, when I get to this amount, X amount, send me a notification. And then you can choose whether it's an email notification, whether it's a call or a text. And all three of those are things that you can set up on the consumer side of things to make sure that you're monitoring what's your responsibility to monitor, right? So it really empowers the residents to be on top of their own water consumption. We're waiting right now to receive, because they have different scope of work for each add-on. And so we're waiting to receive that. Since the meeting was yesterday afternoon, I expect we should have it by close of business tomorrow, and then we'll figure out what that looks like. It works and integrates well with Tyler, which is the system that we're currently using for utility bill management. And so when it comes to the timeline for implementation, I've worked with our treasurer to make sure that we had the funds allocated for it based on what we estimated it was going to cost. And now that we have a breakdown per feature, we'll be able to see how that fits within. So the budget is already there for it. The most time consuming step is likely going to be Tyler integration. And so that's the long and short of that. Hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you. And pretty much all the meters in town are capable of reading out like that?
They are. We're down to less than, I think, 50 inside residents. Some of them are not full-time residents, so it's a matter of coordinating when they're home to get in there. But when we go live, I think there's less than 50 people that will not be on it, and by then maybe there'll be less than that. So yeah,
All
we're ready with 99% of the town.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
And I just want to comment, because I didn't get to comment during the town administrator's report, that both Jay and Samelia this month have checked off a number of my issues very efficiently. So dangerous trees, green team items. So thank you.
Sure.
All right. Anything else you've got? All right, well, I think we're down to the Public Works report. Oh. Anything else from you, Jay?
Nope, that was it.
Okay, all right, all
I'm
right.
just glad the hurricane missed us.
Yeah, me too. Okay. I'm still old school, the wastewater treatment plant report.
Don't feel bad. I still got a wastewater treatment plant too, Mr. Mayor. And I second Jay. I'm glad the hurricane decided to stay out and entertain
yeah.
fish.
I bet you are.
Absolutely. So just getting into our report, this month we had our, just conducted our routine PMCS for the work in the plant through our asset management program, consisting of 129 procedures and 72 work orders for the month. We did our regularly scheduled filter maintenance where we go in and check the operation of the filters and observe the condition of the media. We have Blue Earth scheduled to start the cleaning project of filter number 1 for August 26th. That'll be on roughly a 2-week rotation between filters. That'll give us time for the filter to recover and start growing a biological growth before we take another one out of service. That way we continue our nutrient removal capabilities. We had our pre-bid meetings for 3 RFPs. And we had good attendance for the site lights and the Siemens Dallin Bradley PLC bids with 10 contractors in attendance for each. We had a bid opening for the site lights on August 15th, where we received 2 bids, and that's currently under review. For our flow meter bid, we only had 4 vendors on site for the pre-bid, and we did not receive any bids, so that one will be going back out for bid again. We had work conducted to clean out our decant tank and our SPT. We had issues with the drain line in there that it appeared it had gotten silted up, and we pumped the tank down, confirmed that was the case. Reached out to 5 vendors to provide service to do the work. 2 of them said they couldn't even do the work at all. And we got quotes from 3 vendors to do the work. Outback Porta-John, Stillwater Septic, and Mobile Dredging and Video Pipe Services. The lowest bid quote was from Outback Porta-John. They conducted the work at, I didn't put the date on here. It was towards the beginning of August. It took a day to do the work, and the tank was spotless by the time they were done. Checked the drain. Drain is working fine at this point, so operation of the shellfish tank will be in good condition if we have to use it. We did identify that we're going to need to probably next fiscal year run a project to try and work on getting some of the sediment out of that tank. Just by the nature of that tank, when you pump the water in there, it fills up slowly. All the solids settle out. There was no design in there to really mitigate that. So at some point, we're going to have to do a clean out of that and get that material out of there and hauled off site. So we'll start looking at thoughts on how we can manage that. We have an ongoing project for replacement of return activated sludge pumps. We're working on the number 3 pump, and they're having issues with getting the gateway controller to operate properly. Sherwood Logan's been out there 2 times so far, and they had to reach out to Flight, which is the manufacturer. We had a tech on site yesterday looking at it, and they're working on a course of action. They think that there's just an issue with the gateway. They're now saying that they think the wrong gateways were sent. They're going to get that resolved, and we can continue with that project. Maryland Rural Water, we're working with them for an apprenticeship program that is going to be to help get our trainees as licensed operators. It's a 2-year program. We're planning on using 2 operators for that, or work 2 trainees through and have myself and the assistant superintendent as mentors. With the recent promotion of Randy Wilkerson to full operator, we could have had a 3rd apprentice running, but doing an assessment on the budget, we would have had a over expenditure in the payroll, and we couldn't do that with knowing it would be a problem. So we're going to put off till Maybe next fiscal year, enroll one more trainee in to the program at that point. As I said, we had a promotion of Randy Wilkerson to full operator. He has been working very hard to pass that exam. I think he's taken the exam 5 or 6 times over the last couple of years. The passing rate on the exam is, I think, somewhere between 30 and 50%. So it's a very difficult exam for operators. And we're very proud of him for accomplishing that feat. That's what I have on here. And staff completed our required stormwater pollution prevention program training. Basically, it's going over the entire stormwater pollution prevention program for the plant, identifying where all stormwater outfalls are, understanding how to mitigate any spills, how to prevent spills, and how to properly report and do sampling. We also had a cybersecurity training that was provided by the Board of Waterworks, which is part of Maryland Department of the Environment. That's a new requirement they have for licensing renewal. It's a free program. We go online, they watch a video for a period of time, and we're thinking about probably just doing that annually, just have an annual refresher on cybersecurity, even though it's not required by the licensing requirements, just so we have that training. I've had cybersecurity training on a number of occasions in the past through working through Calvert County. The training they had was very good, I thought. It was very concise and provided a lot of good information. So that's basically all I have. Any questions?
Are there any impact or risk to the inoperable gate situation?
The inoperable gate.
You described a gate not operating and needing to contact the vendor to.
Oh, a gateway.
Yeah,
It's a controller for the pump.
Okay.
The vendor that was out there yesterday, they sent somebody out to troubleshoot, and I kind of read the guy to write at because I asked, "What is your job description?" He said, "I'm in sales." I'm like, "Why are you out here troubleshooting?" So he apparently has a lot of good contacts. So he was there and making contact with people. I'm waiting to see where they go from there. And I'm actually going to look back at the RFP that was generated through McCrone for that and see if maybe there's some, I can't think of the term. Basically, if we can get any money back out of this because of the delay in this project. We've had these pumps sitting there and we're not getting what we were supposed to get, in my viewpoint.
Right.
So I'm going to look at where we can go from there.
So do you have to come up with a workaround or are
Right
you?
now, we're still operating. We have 3 pumps, and 2 of them are in operation right now. The third is generally just a spare, so we can alternate pumps out. It's not an ideal situation. I impressed on him that currently we just dodged a bullet with 1 storm. We got 2 more out in the Atlantic brewing up. I don't like the idea of having storms come up the bay and I only got 3 pumps or 2 pumps of 3 running. So
We trust you.
thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay, moving right along. Town engineers report, Wayne?
Thank you. I'll hit the highlights of the things that did occur this month. There's a couple items that didn't change. I'll bypass those. You heard Samilia in her report talk about Richfield Station. We're working with the developer to confirm what the amounts are that need to be bonded for his public works agreement. We'll continue down that pathway. Safe routes to schools. We met with SHA this month. They have selected a consultant to give us a proposal. We clarified with them what their proposal should include, and they're preparing that proposal. On Kelms Field, we finalized the as-bills last month. We're waiting for Calvert County to release that permit, but this month we finalized, I think, all the invoices and bonding requirements for the project through Cedar Lane. I think we're waiting for them to bring us the final bond. The Seagate Pump Station and Floodgate I worked with MDE and the Corps of Engineers. They had asked us to fill out a pre-meeting questionnaire and had a pre-meeting Zoom meeting. We have pre-meeting meetings, but we did. They now understand the project. They are getting the right staff from MDE and the Corps on board, and will offer us a meeting here in the next few weeks. It'll be likely online at first, and then we'll do it on site, is what I've asked them to do. Beach Elementary School, as you've seen, the tennis courts are nearing completion, as Samilia referenced. We're working on that. 29th Street drainage concerns. It's working with Jay to figure out roadside drainage there. We're doing some additional surveys there to make sure the outfall works with what we're proposing to implement there. B Street right-of-way determination, we're working again with Jay to determine the right-of-way needed for the stairs and the stormwater outfall. And then on Rod and Reel, we're working on a flood cert confirmation to confirm that the elevations that were proposed or provided in a certification that will go to FEMA are correct. So with that, I'll take questions.
Anybody have any questions for one? Thank
I
you.
report too.
Good report.
Thank you.
Calvert County Sheriff's Office. Good evening, sir. Thanks for being here.
I believe everyone received a copy of the town report for the month of July 2025. During this month, the sheriff's office responded to 197 calls for service, which was slightly lower than June, with 231 calls for service. During the month, deputies with the Twin Beaches responded to 861 self-initiated incidents, such as patrol checks and traffic stops and follow-up investigations. We did conduct 228 traffic stops during the month of July. And of the calls for service, some of note, we had a theft of a jacket at the gaming machines at Rod and Reel. We had a theft of packages from a porch on 26th Street. We do have video footage of that one. That one's ongoing. We're investigating that. Harbor House Apartments, theft of packages there as well. On B Street, had a theft there that's going to be a neighborhood dispute having to do with a house that is split into two, and they're just not getting along. But we're trying to help mitigate that for them. Had a theft at the CVS in Chesapeake Station. Two individuals were caught by staff there stealing items. They called us out. Deputy Fleenor responded and was able to catch both of those individuals in the act, and they were charged accordingly and trespassed from the business. Had one DUI arrest. Was on 260 and E Street. Subject was stopped for speeding and found to be driving under the influence. They were placed under arrest and charged accordingly. Had some destruction of property in Fishing Creek. That's report was taken for that, but we're waiting for information from the victim on that to hopefully get a suspect charged with that. Had an assault near Chesapeake Village. This one was noted in the town report only because it was reported in the town. Deputy was there conducting traffic enforcement. A young lady stopped him and advised that she had been assaulted, but she lived in Summer City outside the town limits. However, the deputy did contact additional resources and they responded out there and handled that situation. We had several warrant services through the course of our traffic enforcement. We've been getting quite a few of those, just conducting traffic enforcement throughout the town and running people, and they're coming back with arrest warrants, and we're handling those. Had a subject at the Fast Stop here after hours. We've been getting a lot of that with them changing their hours. I know I just came back up here in January, so that's all still new to me because when I worked up here years ago, that place was open all night long. But we get people hanging out there at nighttime, and a lot of them have been trespassed. Deputy found someone that had been trespassed from there. He was placed under arrest, taken to jail. We had an attempted burglary at a residence in Richfield Station. We did involve the Criminal Investigations Bureau with the Sheriff's Office on that, and that investigation is also ongoing. And we have obviously increased patrol checks in that area to combat that. Also, just something of note, we do have a lot of new deputies up here. You're going to be seeing a lot of new faces. Some of our deputies have transferred out to go to be SROs with the schools, take detectives positions and things like that. One deputy, Gadwell, I'm sure y'all saw around. He was the real big guy in the green uniform. He went to the full-time SWAT team. So we have a lot of new faces up here. Just so you're aware, there's going to be a lot of new people up here. Any questions anyone has about the town report? No? Okay.
Questions? Thank you.
All right. I will be here till the end. If anyone has any questions, I'll be here if anyone would like to speak with me.
Just one question. reading your report, and you said there's an ongoing investigation about what's, I guess it's being called an attempted burglary. It says that someone attempted to enter 2 different homes through the back door, I believe it says.
Yes, so, or, sorry, continue your question. I was jumping the gun there.
Oh, so yeah, I just wanted you to elaborate on that a little bit more. Like, how are we sure it was a burglary? Or
So
what
they
the
had
attempt was there?
cameras on the back of the house, and the subjects were trying to get in the late hours of the night. And that's what the homeowner reported.
That's kind of frightening.
Mass coverings.
Really?
Stuff, yeah. So, we don't, I have to check with the detectives. Like I said, we turned it over to them to investigate further. But we have increased patrol checks in that area, mostly in the back of Richfield Station is where we're seeing a lot of this. And I was actually contacted by a citizen. Today is Thursday. I believe it was Tuesday or Wednesday about the parking area by the beginning of the railway trail there. So we're going to be checking into that more often. I'm making sure deputies are checking that more frequently because apparently cars are parking there late at night. And
Yeah, and we've addressed that
suspicious.
particular area before. I don't may not have been with you, may have been with another deputy. So maybe we should reiterate that that's an area of concern, ongoing concerns, not
Yes,
new. So yeah, that particular area seems to have a lot of things going on back there.
Yes, sir.
And not just at night. Sometimes around the bus time, sometimes you'll get people that are looking for a quiet spot to smoke some pot or something.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
That's
After school.
That's one thing the citizen talked about. He was saying around 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So I told him we would make sure we check on it during the daytime as well, not just
Yeah.
nighttime. Crime occurs all hours of the day, not just night, but.
All right. Thank you.
And yeah, with the packages, I know that's been going around the county. When I was in narcotics, we were doing surveillance on that and catching people stealing cell phones and iPads were a big thing. So yeah, but that's countywide and we'll keep an eye on that as well. So, but if anybody has anything for me, once we're done, just feel free to come talk to me.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
And thanks for being here.
Yes, absolutely.
Is there anybody here from the fire department to make a report? Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Evening, sir.
Nice to be here.
Don't drop it. Don't drop it.
So it's a pleasure to be here tonight. Appreciate the opportunity to represent the fire department. I'm John Tippett, one of the deputy chiefs. We had a pretty busy month in July. The report was sent to you, 192 total runs, predominantly in the Chesapeake Beach area. Well, of note, there were 4 working fires, none in North Beach or Chesapeake Beach. They were responded out of our area to that. 3 helicopter landings, trauma patient and 2 cardiac patients were helicoptered to special facilities. Our July water supply drill is our annual fireboat drill, so we can hone up on our skills. Since we're surrounded by water, even if we don't have hydrants, we have plenty of water for our firefighting capacity. So the fireboat can act as a floating hydrant and can generate up to 2,500 to 3,000 gallons a minute of water for fire activity. And so we want to make sure we're up on that. Participated in a number of community events through July. Of note, we are participating with the county sheriff's office on the back to school safety campaign. The students are back on Monday. Centennial Planning Commission, we're going to restart our meetings after Labor Day. Summer was pretty hard to get people together with vacations. We have 348 days until the department turns 100 years old. We're pretty excited about that. Parade route's been finalized. It'll run through North Beach. We had a model commissioned, which is what I brought with me tonight. That's the prototype. That was the second truck the department bought, but the only one we really have a lot of pictures for. A company out of California that has assemblers in the Philippines put that together. It's predominantly wood with some small metal and plastic parts, and it's all hand carved. So
Can I ask you a question about
Yes,
that?
sir. Mhm.
That photograph in the background.
That's the truck.
Yeah, that truck, but where was it?
It was at 4th and Dayton,
Okay.
at the original firehouse.
Okay.
It went away, it came back, and before I got involved with the department, unfortunately, it sat out outside the fire station and just kind of rotted away.
Seeing that?
Yeah, sadly. I mean,
Yeah.
it would have been a great truck to restore.
Right.
We are in the middle of restoring our 1947 truck. That's about to go into paint. And the mechanic working on the truck for us has found a donor truck. He found an identical truck. He's going to be able to transfer all the
That's
parts
great.
out of that truck. So we're very excited about that. I was hoping to have some paint pictures for you tonight, but the painter's struggling with humidity and
You can always come
excessive
back
heat.
next month.
Yes, sir. I would be sure to. Last point of order here for the centennial is the history book is progressing. We're looking to be on track for a publication in time for the anniversary. And we're up to 35 committed people for the purchase of the model. Unfortunately, there was a price increase because of the tariffs. They're $245 a copy, but they are hand carved. And that, I mean, there's a lot of detail in there that goes into it. Of major events, I don't know that there's anything really super out of the ordinary to bring to your attention. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any council members have any questions?
Thanks
Thank
very
you for
much.
being here.
Thanks.
We're
Appreciate it.
glad to have you
Jamie
here.
almost dropped it, so make sure you grab that from.
Yeah, be careful.
Really appreciate you.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for being here. We truly appreciate it. All right, time for the mayor's report. First thing to mention is that we just reached an agreement with a vendor, the vendor of the website, to overhaul the town website, which is going to take place over about 6 months. And so, I'm sorry, say it again. What?
I'm sorry.
Why does it take so long?
I just balked that nothing
The
takes
man
6
so
months,
techie,
but
Jamie.
not tech
Well-
world, but
And
I'm out of line. I apologize.
okay, and so that that will be good to get done because frankly, I find it very hard to navigate. And I think others will confirm that. I want to acknowledge the fact that County Commissioner for our district is here, Catherine Grasso. So welcome. Would you like to say anything? Well, I think all of elected officials are like that, aren't they?
Some new faces here tonight from when I was originally here, and welcome. I know you all are going to do great things. I've been talking to some of you. Anthony has some great ideas. Lori, I'm so glad the tennis courts have taken off and that all worked out. But I wanted to let you all know that I am Catherine Grasso and I do represent District 3, which is your district. And if you need me for anything, please don't hesitate to call. I've already met with the mayor and I've met with Samelia. We had a nice conversation. We went across to the Rod and Reel for an event. Also, I don't know if you all know, the county administrative building is being built. We were notified that our office, which is on the second floor, will be the last office to move in the middle of October. So if you all would like after the first of the year, I'd love you to give me a call and I'd love to take you on a tour of your county administrative building. So please don't hesitate to call. Enjoy the rest of your summer and thank you so much for all that you do.
Well, thank you for being here. Okay. Moving right along. Railway Museum. We have somebody here from the Railway Museum. You want to come up? Yeah. I'm going to come down and join you. who is the president of the foundation. And we've been working together. I've volunteered when the Railway Museum came to the town and said, who would you like to be your representative of this administration to the foundation? I raised my hand. So it's me. And I've had opportunity to meet with other foundation members and work closely what's going on at the Chesapeake Beach Railway Museum. It's one of only 2 museums in the county. The other one is the Calvert Marine Museum. Both of them are administered by the same people. The foundation is a support group for the Railway Museum. And it really, it's very enlightening for me. And I will tell you, one of the reasons that I live here, I've now lived here for 40 years. One of the reasons I live here is because of the Chesapeake Beach Railway. Now, it went out of business in 1935 or thereabouts. And I hadn't been born yet. I was almost there, but not there. But I knew about it, and it was principally because I grew up in Vienna, Virginia, or North Falls Church, Virginia, and there was a railroad there in Washington, from Rosslyn and Alexandria all the way out past where Dulles Airport is now. And I used to play on the railroad tracks when I was a kid. I know you're not supposed to do that, but I did. But anyway, there was a book written by Ames Williams about the Washington Old Dominion Railroad. Well, then I found another book written about the Chesapeake Beach Railway by Ames Williams, which you can get copies of at the museum. And it's a hardbound book. I have a copy that was given to me by citizens that were here back when I moved here about 40 years ago. And it's very well written, and it tells you everything you want to know about the Chesapeake Beach Railway. These folks and now me are working hard to preserve the history of the Chesapeake Beach Railway. And the Donovan family, the owners of the Rod and Reel, actually own the property, but they made it available for use to the museum. And it's in perpetuity, and it is a great amenity in the town. So if you haven't been to the Railway Museum, I highly recommend that you go. And what we have here is a donation check from the town for $1,500 to support the foundation. Look at the picture. Now, it's your turn to say whatever you want to.
Thank you. Our mission at the museum is to keep history alive in the Chesapeake Beach and North Beach area as well as Calvert County. Last Saturday, we had a visit from representatives of Senator Michael Jackson, and his office came down along with representatives from Community Resources in the county, Jennifer Moore. Yes. And representatives from Economic Development. But they came down to view the new exhibit on the African American history in Calvert County. It's been months in the making, and it's really something. Our museum is about 30% railroad and about 70% community. And there's something there for everyone. Little people, big people, people from all walks of life.
Old people.
Yeah. I'm there every Saturday, and my joke to them is when they come in the doors, welcome, you hit the trifecta. I said, this building's 120 years old. You've got an old building. It's all full of old stuff to look at, and it's guided by old people. So you get the full experience here. But what we do is that we provide to the museum improvements that take the burden off the taxpayer of Calvert County. The museum doesn't have to go to the county for things that need improvement. And we're constantly improving. This check is incredible. It will do such good. And we get checks like this every once in a while, not this handsome. And we have a little box that people drop dollars in as they go out the door. But we are always involved in constant improvement, constant service to the community. That's why we're there, and come see us. And for many people, the museum is the first contact they have with Calvert County if they don't get stopped on 260. Seeing a related increase in foot traffic in our museum. In fact, the day that the group from the state came down, for the 3 hours that we were open that day, we had 62 visitors. And the administrative people, I'll put it kindly, that were with the senator, they said, well, what about this? And the people that were working, our docents, said, excuse me, I have a visitor. And they'd step away and handle the visitor. Tonight I came here from training a new docent. We developed a training program, and before a new docent starts, they go through hours of training so that they can adequately serve who walks through the door. And at the end of it, they did an exam. And question number 13 on the exam is, in the museum system in Calvert County, who is the most important person? And we have the county administrator, we have the curator, we have the whatever. But the correct answer is the person that walks through that front door.
There you go.
And nothing else matters except them. And they love the place. They love it. We've entertained people from obviously here, the state, nationally. People come across country, they're staying at the hotel, they drop in to see us, and internationally. And fortunately, most of the international people that come bring interpreters. It's just so popular, so popular. And one more thing, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but we completed renovations about 4 years ago. New exhibits, new everything. And about 2 months after we reopened, a couple came in, a young couple. And they were walking around and, yeah, this is nice, this is nice, this is nice. And, I was talking with them. Both of those people work for the Smithsonian downtown. And they travel around the country looking at museums. And you talk about a compliment. These two people said, you guys knocked it out of the park. That was just so made me feel so good that these people that look at hundreds of museums a year, and they came in and they gave us such a compliment. That's really something. So come see us. And if you haven't been by there, you see the old rail car sitting out back, the passenger car.
Dolores.
The Dolores. Yes. That's available for meetings.
It's very nice.
It's very nice. And so we put a lot of money, the foundation did put a lot of money into it. It's a great meeting space. It's great atmosphere.
Can we have our next meeting there, Bruce?
I'm sorry?
Can we have our next meeting there?
We can do that.
All right.
Excuse me, sir, is your name Mike? Are you planning on leaving now? Or are you staying till the end of the meeting?
I can stay if you want.
Well, I would just, if you want to leave your phone number with me, I'd like to discuss a different donation offline with you at another time.
Oh, absolutely. I'll be here.
You did that very well, Eric. Thanks, Mike. It's really nice to be able to do things like that, and I'm really glad that I've been accepted as a member of the committee there, ex officio member, and it's a great place to be. I want to continue, let's see, let me see. One thing that has occurred that I've initiated over the past several months is individual one-on-one meetings with members of the town council, that are not the full meeting. It's just one-on-one. And the majority of the members have taken opportunity to do that. And that helps me to understand the priorities, their priorities, and how we can find unity and move forward. It's been very successful. And I know that you're all busy, but I appreciate those of you that have already been able to take the time to join me. I truly appreciate that. And those that have yet that had that opportunity, I hope that you will take advantage of it, because in my mind, that's been quite successful. Okay, so we're going to move on to resolutions and ordinances. We're going to start with, I'll just read this. Vote on ordinance 025-11, an ordinance of the Town Council of Chesapeake Beach, Maryland, clarifying the positions of Chapter 200 Property Maintenance, Section 200-1, existing structures, maintenance and repairs, and Section 200-3 sanitary maintenance, prohibiting or prohibit accumulations of stagnant water and other conditions that contribute to mosquito breedings. So we're going to, does anybody, you have the ordinance in front of you? It's actually, Jamie, can you speak to this? Because I think you were deeply involved in making these changes.
Yes. So this ties back to the ordinance related to the pool, because it was like algae was blooming on it and not maintained, and there was concerns regarding like how do we deal with this when the property owner is either not available or has moved on, and for whatever reason the pool or the stagnant water is not being maintained in a proper manner, and concerns with regards to like disease and bugs and stuff. So the challenge was the previous one just kind of went a little too far, maybe over indexed on the language, was very specific to it really wasn't enforceable. So the goal here was to tie into current code and expand it so it would be able to capture the intent and the sentiments behind what we were trying to do for Stu's specific request, and then not over index and still give Billy, our code enforcer, the ability to actually enforce something per the code, because there's there's fines already laid out, there's the process already laid out. So
All right, so is there a motion for approval?
motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? No.
Okay,
But I actually wanted to discuss, it's not a lot. I just wanted to, we kind of went a little fast there for me to get a comment in. I just wanted to explain that there's nothing wrong with this at all. It's just, I think the existing code covers what we're trying to do without any amendment. That's all.
Well, when Jamie and I spoke, the definitive thing about pools was not there. So making sure that we have the verbiage in place means that there's no question. And the biggest problem is we'll have gray areas where people can skirt around or say that this doesn't necessarily mean that, so on and so forth. So instead of changing it altogether, we just made sure that the verbiage was clear with the additions so that there's no question at all that these are covered under this ordinance.
Yep. When Stuart first brought this up, I asked if there was anything existing that was enforceable, and the answer I got was no. It's not clear enough. So I think this is
Well,
needed.
okay, and so we've actually voted and approved it already, so.
Here we go.
Yep.
But thank you, Eric, for your comment. All right, next we have ordinance O-25-12, an ordinance of the Town Council of Chesapeake Beach, Maryland, amending the Town Code, Chapter 290 zoning, Article 4, overlay and floating districts, Section 290-17, critical area overlay district, and Section 290-18, growth allocation, and Article 11, definitions, Section 290-44. critical area definitions, all to conform to the town's critical area program to the requirements of the Maryland Critical Area Commission. Sarah, was there anything you wanted to say about this?
This is just sort of including the new legislation that was passed between the time the Planning Commission approved this and sent it to the town council, and the town council adopted it. So this is really just incorporating new legislation
And that was mandatory modifications, right?
from the state.
From the
yes.
state. Okay. So is there a motion for approval?
Can I ask one question?
Well, why don't we get a motion in a second, then ask the question? Okay, is there a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Okay, thank you, Laura. Second?
Second.
Okay, second from John. Ask your question, please, Laura.
Yes, it relates to the growth allocation. So,
Yes.
I think it went from 140 available acres down to 100, and then it added 10 acres to what was used. So if you could just explain how that all happened.
Mhm. So this overlay, the Planning Commission started working on it, I want to say in 2023, possibly in 2022, you might know. And at that time, the planner coordinated with the Critical Area Commission to find out what the allocation was. And the 144 to 100 is a little more complicated, right? So 144 was based on our RCAs at the time that growth allocation was originally to be issued. That was what could have been issued by the county, but what the county actually issued us was 100 acres. So the 144 got in there by error. It was what could have been issued, but not what was issued. And then the person from the Critical Area Commission who gave us our growth allocation had a math error in their calculations. And so when it was reviewed, the new person on the Critical Area Commission crunched the numbers again and said, hey, this 144 is wrong. It's really 100, but you actually have more growth allocation available because the math was done wrong in the first place. So it is a staff math error that happened, and that has been corrected by subsequent staff. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that explanation. And just for we received a public comment, obviously. And just for my colleagues, like understanding of growth allocation, I know Chris taught us very often that it's coveted, it's limited, it's, you know, you really shouldn't be using it willy-nilly. And what he taught us was it really should be public facilities, if you need a school, you know, if you really need a certain project, but it's not something to hand out like candy, and it's not something to squander. So that's why I asked you about the growth allocation, because it did get reduced. The other thing he taught us was that if we annexed, our growth allocation would end up going up. Is that correct?
Right, possibly. I can't say
Okay.
for certain what would happen in an
Okay.
annexation.
Okay, I think like it's based on your growth allocation is based on
Right, it is.
the
Yes.
land that you have, or
Right.
okay. Just a few things to think about. Thank you for explaining that, because I couldn't for the life of me even
Yes.
begin to figure out how that happened.
At the Planning Commission or Planning and Zoning Commission level, we said, okay, there was a math error and we wind up with more growth allocation, and we don't need to complain about that.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And you addressed my comments on the phone and made me very comfortable with this ordinance.
Okay. Good.
So who is the Critical Area Commission made up of, and what authority do they have over the town?
So the Critical Area Commission is part of the Department of Natural Resources, and they're appointed by the governor. It's a pretty long list of people. There's about 29 people, and then each county gets a representative, and then other counties it's one or, and then there are also folks from different departments within the state that get included. I can get more specific if you want. I have.
No, that's fine. Yeah, because the public comment said we should consider advice and program amendments must be approved by the commission, but individual development applications are not. So what authority do they have? Like what do we have to follow from them?
So the commission itself and the staff are sort of different. Same way I would review someone's shed, but the planning and zoning commission would review a major site plan. So that you have staff that review some things and have commission that reviews other things. But what the commission, whether it's staff or the commission, is trying to do is see if you are in compliance with the state law regarding critical area. And so there are development applications that they do review. So they don't review your shed in your backyard, but if there are, I am not looking at it right, but I think if it's more than 5 or 10 units in the subdivision, then they're going to review that. And depending on what's included in the application, it might be reviewed by staff or it might be reviewed by the full commission.
Okay, thank you.
Good, Eric.
I think my question may be best for the town attorney. I was talking to Samelia earlier, had some questions, and I think that is best if you can maybe answer them for me. But I'm a similar vein here as Councilman Evans' questions. I guess my question, and I'll try to boil this down as simply as possible. If the state of Maryland has the authority to put these types of restrictions on us as a town, then why do we need to codify it in our code?
There are a number of things that the state mandates you adopt in your own codes, even though it could just say, here are the rules. It says, here are the rules you must adopt in your code. So not just critical areas things, your ethics, well, not your ethics ordinance so much because you were exempt, but ethics ordinances in most jurisdictions in the state, stormwater management provisions, your whole chapter is pretty much follows a model that the state dictated. So it just is the fact that the state wants you to have in your code certain provisions. I imagine that the critical areas provisions could, in theory, vary from jurisdiction to jurisdiction in some respects. There may be provisions that the state wants you to have that it doesn't want others, that in other jurisdictions they're different. I don't know that for a fact. I don't have a lot of clients who have a lot of critical areas. But it's just one of those things the state wants you to do.
So if it seems like some of this language almost feels like that we'd be ceding power that we have to the state. Is that accurate?
I don't think so. I think you only have the power that the state gives you.
Okay.
If I could, with regard to the critical area ordinance, there is a lot of flexibility within it. You're not looking at the part that has the flexibility in it, but there is flexibility within the ordinance and how you administer it and how mitigation happens and your fee in lieu program and what you require. So there are things that you have to do, and then there's things that you have more flexibility in.
Okay. And then we see a lot of the word requirement, state requires, when we're talking about this in language and in the actual ordinance. So what happens if you don't?
I don't know because I've never had a client refuse to do it. So I can tell you in a different context, after the state back in 2010 mandated that local governments adopt certain pretty draconian ethics requirements, there were a couple of jurisdictions that refused. And they spent a lot of money litigating with the state over it. In the end, there were no sanctions, but they got put on a naughty list with the state, and it meant that the state handled certain requests from them perhaps less expeditiously than it might of cooperative jurisdictions. I don't know specifically what would happen if you refuse to adopt state mandated requirements with respect to critical areas. That the state has a very, very strong environmental policy about protecting wetlands. And I suspect that they would bring an action to compel you to adopt the requirements.
And I think it's important to remember that the geography of our town is such that the Critical Area Commission has a lot of jurisdiction over what we do within the town. And you recall when we built the railway trail, that they were an impediment to getting things done, but we did get it done. But the Critical Area Commission has a lot of authority.
Yeah. And so one thing that would happen is that the Critical Area Commission still is required to review certain development plans, whether you have this or not. So basically, you would be kind of hindering development in your critical area because you would have no local review of it. And so probably the critical area wouldn't review it, and then that development would not be able to be permitted.
Yeah, so basically nothing would change as far as the procedure that we have to go through with the state.
Well, things get permitted this way, right? So if you don't have a program, then the state, when they review it, they're not going to authorize the permitting of the development. I suppose we could issue a permit for development that's not in compliance, and then that goes back to the attorney, right? But you wouldn't, people who want to do development beyond simple single-family home development in the critical area would not be able to do that in Chesapeake Beach if you don't have a critical area overlay.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Can you clarify if we don't have a critical area program or we don't have this new law introduced in there, because we would still have what we have today. It would just be slightly different than.
Yes, so you have to comply with these other portions by September of 2026. However, the Critical Area Commission has asked for the approval of your entire plan that you incorporate them by October. So I can't say either what they would do if you don't comply with the conditions on their approval. Maybe they rescind their approval. And then I guess that puts you back to the critical area overlay that you had before this adoption, and it puts you out of compliance because you have to revisit that overlay every certain number of years. So you won't have done your update on time. So you create a lot of compliance issues, and that could cause problems for folks who want to complete projects in the town.
Thank you. I appreciate you asking that question, because that was the question I had, is if we just ignore it. A lot of people in the U.S. ignore a lot of laws. So, but I wanted to understand the impacts. And Sarah, me and you have talked offline, so I appreciate the conversation.
Any other questions? All right. Is there a motion for approval?
I'll motion.
Is there a second?
Second it.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you, council. And that was a good discussion. I'm glad we're airing these issues out and getting your questions answered. It's important. All right, next we have a charter amendment. We're going to vote on charter amendment resolution CAR-25-3, a resolution of the Town Council of Chesapeake Beach, Maryland, amending section C-303, meetings of the Town Council of the Town Charter to delete the time specified for the commencement of town council meetings to allow the mayor to determine the time of commencement. And before we go any further, I want to make it clear that this is just to give us flexibility, but we will maintain a regular schedule. And it will be made known to the public. So is there a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Eric, go ahead, please.
So, yeah, and I appreciate you saying that, Mr. Mayor, that we will maintain a regular schedule. But I really kind of feel that I want it in there, so that people can reference it. And if it does change, because the way it's written here, it could change every meeting, and then the council would have to somehow vote to amend that if they wanted it to be right. I understand that you say you're going to be regular, but that's the language permits a lot of variation. And so if the intention is to be earlier, which I'm for, and to get home earlier, which I'm for, I almost would like it to be amended with a specific time, but earlier. So if the intention would be 6:30, then we just plug in 6:30 instead of what's there now, which is 7, I think. All right.
Yeah, I have good comments too. So I actually do agree with putting some language in there to force us to publish something in advance on our website. I don't think anybody goes to our code to read the time of the meetings. I mean, maybe you'll go in 6 months to our new website. But I think maybe we could just amend this to make a statement in there that would, and I can make a motion here in a second, but to amend it to say that we would have something published, a year out, a year's published, and then we would adjust based off of emerging needs. But I think that would meet the intent, in my opinion.
You saying publish the meeting times for a full year or a year in advance?
Well, the current process, we have them already established and laid out. We just changed it because meetings were 12 hours or 13 hours, however long when we first got here. So we moved it up 30 minutes and then just added 30 minutes to 13 hours.
Added 45 minutes.
But so what I'm really trying to say is that we were saying we have not changed our meeting schedules minus some actions that we were taking at the very beginning because we were trying to get some stuff done. But I do think ultimately what we're trying to do is to give the mayor the flexibility to adjust times to certain needs. But as long as it's published and publicly known, I think we're hitting the intent. And why not? I mean, if we're going to have a standard, there's no difference between the mayor publishing it on there, unless you just say we have to be at 6:30, which, flexibility.
That eliminates that flexibility.
And if the mayor decides he wants every month to come in here and change it, then I will support you on reverting the language.
Well, it does already have flexibility written in here that even if it had a regular time, that the council can vote to change that. So if we had it at 6:30, but for some reason we needed to do it at 7 or something, we needed flexibility, all we had to do would be to vote on it.
So are you making an amendment?
Yeah, I guess I will. I'll move to amend the ordinance to read instead of the underlined new wording that says at a time to be determined by the mayor, say at 6:30 p.m. and all the other language remains the same, including the council vote to amend.
Okay. Is that your?
Yes.
Okay. Is there? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Get a second. Where it says the council shall schedule a regular meeting, after which the council shall schedule a regular meeting at 7 p.m. Can we just change this 7 p.m. to 6:30?
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's still in this particularly, this amended ordinance that we have in front of us. That 7 o'clock Time is still in there.
No, only on that, that's for your original
That's what's being
organizational
taken out.
meeting. But if you go down to the beginning of the fourth line,
Yeah.
that, you see the brackets, that's taking that out. So instead of taking
Oh.
it out, I think you're proposing to just change that hour. Yeah?
Yeah, that's fine. But
And then strike at a
Strike.
time to be termed.
Yes, correct.
Mhm. Got
All
it.
right, that's a motion for an amendment. Is there a second for that motion?
I'll second that for discussion.
Go ahead. Discussion.
I agree with Eric that a consistent time would be beneficial to me. I wouldn't want it to be earlier than 6:30 work. And nobody wants it to be later than 6:30. So it seems like there really isn't a lot of flexibility that wouldn't cause a problem for potentially for a council person. I support the amendment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with the 6:30 time as well, and it still does give us an ability to change it if we need to, as long as we vote on it, so. I'm okay with that.
I'm sorry, I was distracted. Can you repeat that?
Oh, I was just saying, I can agree with the 6:30 time because it still gives us the ability to change it if we need to, as long as we have 21 days notice and a vote.
Okay. All right, so
We have a motion and a second, so.
to amend,
Correct.
okay, let's vote on the amendment. All in favor of the amendment, say aye.
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 Okay, it's amended. So we know how this is going to read, right? You,
It's going to read the whole segment, read the whole section. Except as provided for herein, the newly elected council shall meet at 7 PM on the third Thursday in December following its election for the purpose of organization or any other business that may come before it, after which the council shall schedule a regular meeting at 6:30 PM on the third Thursday of each month. Notwithstanding the foregoing, the date, right now it says, notwithstanding the foregoing, the date of any regular meeting may be changed by the majority vote of the council to a date no sooner than 21 days after the date of the vote on a motion to change the meeting date. Special meetings shall be called by the town clerk upon the request of the mayor or a majority of the members of council. All meetings of the council shall be open to the public, subject to being closed to the public in accordance with the provisions of the Maryland Open Meetings Act as amended, A special meeting may be designated as a work session at which the public is not to be heard unless permitted by the president of the council. Except for meetings designated as a work session, residents of the town shall have a reasonable opportunity to be heard at any public meeting in regard to any municipal question at the time and in the manner designated by the president of the council. So that's
Alright.
the full text of the way it reads, but that includes, because your amendment didn't change, the deletion of of words on the fifth line after the date. So,
Move to amend.
okay, to restore those,
Yes, please.
What's that at end time too?
yeah.
No, don't set it.
I was just kidding.
you're getting tired of this, huh?
Second, if anybody wants to restore the word
I'll second.
time, so we can actually change the time and not just the date.
A motion, second.
All right, all in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
All right, did we move the other motion or the other amendment? We did. And did we vote on it? Okay, so we did. So we're ready to vote on the amended, the amended ordinance. Okay. All right, all in favor of the amended ordinance, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. All right. Next, reports of Here. Yep. All right, report of the Planning and Zoning Commission. We have a report from Cindy Greengold, the Chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission. It's in your packet. It's short. I can just read it. They had a meeting on July 23rd, 2025. Following our highlights in the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, reviewed the draft sign ordinance subsection regarding fines and violations, reviewed and made revisions to prohibited, exempt from permits and temporary signage, added to the definition subsections, determined agenda items that will be addressed beginning in fall 2025, work towards having a public hearing in September for the draft ordinance on signage, begin work on coastal protection and resiliency, review the code on businesses in the RV2 neighborhoods, consider code changes for household hens, and review the codes on fences. And the next Planning and Zoning Commission meeting will be held on August 27th, 2025. Board of Appeals, there was no hearing held. Chesapeake Beach Oyster Cultivation Society report. We have a report, and I can read that one too. I'll try to read quickly. A request for volunteers to assist with the fall 5th grade field trips was sent out in July, and to date we have 8 volunteers signed up. The notice is being forwarded to the town hall for inclusion in the weekly e-blasts. Larry Ringgold has been assisting with the refresh of the Oysterarium on the rail trail. He has replaced some of the windows and hardware, as well as given the frame a new stain. The diagrams posters that have been heavily sun damaged over the years are being reprinted and will hopefully be in place before the students arrive in September. Spat on Shale has been ordered for the fall field trip program, and the staffing kickoff meeting is scheduled for August 27th. And Sue Alexander met with the director of the Friends of Herring Bay to discuss potential future oyster projects that would be of mutual benefit to both the Friends Group and CBOX. That's the Chesapeake Bay Beach Oyster Cultivation Society. Election Committee. You're going to speak to the election?
Yep, sure. I'll just say a few words. We have not officially met yet, but we are working behind the scenes. We have, since the last time when I publicly spoke about wanting some volunteers, we've received a number of applicants, and we are reviewing those applicants. I believe we don't want to, we don't, I think there's a sentiment that we don't want this committee to get out of hand size-wise so we can make decisions efficiently. So we will be reviewing those applicants and choosing, I think we've settled on 3 applicants from the public. And I'm working, Councilman Green and I are both working to get the first meeting set up. And I'd like to do that sooner than later, just because I don't want to get caught behind and, we're waiting around and then hurrying up later when we're trying to, because you never know. And I was just telling this to Amelia, you never know. There could be a referendum or something like that. There may be some type of election activity prior to the actual election. So we're working on it, and we should start meeting here soon.
All right, thank you. Any questions? All right. Next item of business is the Green Team report. This report is a couple of pages long, so I probably am not going to read this one, but it's in your packets. If anybody's got any questions, you can raise them now. Not sure we can answer them. All right.
I just want to let the public know the Green Team is working very hard to get us our sustainable community recertification, and that's a big honor and also an opportunity to receive grants from that organization. So they're doing a lot of good work, and we met yesterday to learn all about that, and we should all appreciate what they do, and they are looking for members. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, next, Kellum's Revitalization Committee. I don't know that I have a.
No, there's not.
Amy's going to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just real quick. So we did send the survey out via the town's messaging for inputs on what we would like to see at Kellum's. I have had questions regarding why the dog park wasn't on there. And that was specific to, there's been significant concerns raised regarding safety. There's an issue recently at Dunkirk Park and some other areas. And then talking with just talking with Sarah and Jay, there's some potential challenges regarding drainage and a whole bunch of, there's a lot to it. There was a decision that we don't want to hold up the complete revitalization for the dog park, and maybe there's a better opportunity elsewhere in the town for us to look at. Allergies, there's a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of it just surrounded by safety, and that is something I do take important. So the results, I hope to have the results like in the next, I think it's a week and a half or so, and then I'm going to try to do some analysis on it, and then hopefully present it to the council in the town at either the next work session or follow on.
When does your poll close?
It was set for 2 or 3 weeks, so I think 2 weeks. So it should be it's still open today. Get out there and
Through
open it.
when?
2 weeks from when it went out.
I don't know when it went
I
out.
don't know. They blast. There's I get like 8 e-blasts a week. So
I shared it on the community
Yeah,
group too.
great,
Have you
thank
gotten
you.
good feedback
Right,
yet?
but you don't know when it closes.
Or have you?
2 weeks. 2 weeks from when it went out last Friday. Well, okay, hold on. It went out on the 15th to the 29th.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, Twin Beach Community Health Coalition.
Yeah, I didn't get an opportunity to get a report in.
That's why I
but
can't
We
find it.
we've been going full speed. Next week on the 30th, we will have the International Overdose Awareness Day event, Glow Light Visual at Kellums Field at the Eagle Pavilion. We will invite the community out. We have a couple of speakers to come out, and we're giving people who have unfortunately lost someone to overdose a chance to be a part of a mural project that's going to be done by Katie Brinkley on the Eagle Pavilion wall. Shout out to Public Works for getting that door in for us so we wouldn't have to put the artwork around that. Thanks to Kellums Field for taking a look at the mural and the guys okaying it. So we'll have a new mural put there that will be a dedication of hope for people who have lost someone, but we'll also make sure that it doesn't have that mausoleum feel that you'll be depressed every time you walk by it. And also we are finishing up a video for Red Ribbon Week. We had the DEA Community Drug Prevention Award, and they asked us to do a 2-minute video for what we've been doing on this end concerning working against substance abuse. So we'll have that early next week to send in to you and the town administrator for approval before we send it on to the DEA. And when we have the mural completed after the 30th, and we had to do the 30th because International Overdose Awareness Day is the 31st, but school started, so we didn't want people out there at night on a night before school, so we moved it to Saturday. And I work with Savannah. We're going to show a good spiritual uplifting movie right after everybody gets the glow in the dark wristbands and be able to go out and enjoy that. But probably about 2 or 3 weeks after that, we can unveil the finalized mural. What we're going to do Saturday night is give everybody an opportunity to write the names on the wall, and then we'll do the mural over their names, but we'll set up a QR code so that we can have a list of all the names on the wall for anybody who wants to see those names in memory of them.
Thank you, Anthony, and I really commend you for all the work you're doing in this realm. Have had opportunity to see Councilman Green in action and other situations related to these topics, and this man is an incredible force and a tremendous asset to this town. I thank you for everything that you're
Appreciate
doing.
that. Also, we have swag now. We have new hats, T-shirts, ink pens, bags. So
There
we'll
you
make
go.
sure everybody
Most
gets one from
important
the
thing.
council, and yeah, so we're branded and ready to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next is the Walkable Community Advisory Group, WCAG. Take it away.
I'm really grateful to my committee. It's a small committee, but they are working really hard. We just put together a presentation, some talking points for an upcoming meeting with the SHA on the 28th. And then, hopefully we'll get some good information back from SHA to understand what can be done around town for some of these issues. We've heard a lot from SHA of what can't be done and why. But really our focus with SHA, my intent is to say, if we were to get something done, what would that be? And so we'd like to move forward on those projects. And that's all your SHA projects, your crosswalks, your smart, complete streets. And so just having that information and knowing what those next steps could be is our goal for that meeting. And then we're going to move immediately to working on an RFP for railway trail projects and railway trail expansion. And everybody on the committee has participated, done work, and it's not like the fun work where you get to go out and eat food and have a good time. They're doing work. So I'm very grateful to everybody. They've showed up at the meetings and really participated. So we're also looking for members. So feel free to join.
Next time we have a chance to sit down together, let's talk about the railway trail projects. You know, that was a passion of mine, and I spent 22 years to get that done in the past, although my name's not on it anywhere. But I'd love to, and it doesn't need to be, but I'd love to do anything I can to help with that.
Yeah, I'd definitely love to see that connection to the school. I think that would be awesome.
That's a steep hill, though. It's a steep hill. All right. Moving along, Water Park Committee.
Yep, we just had our meeting right before this. I see a couple of people in the audience that were there. So I know the public's been asking me about updates on the water park, and the next work session, we should have a major update from Paddock, the vendor that we're working with that actually built the park 30 years ago. So if you are interested, definitely come to the next work session on September 9th at 6 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody got any questions for John? All right, we're moving along at a good pace now. Okay, unfinished. Town Council to consider the reappointment of Chris Smith to the Planning Commission for a 5-year term. Is there a motion to?
Motion to approve?
Is there a second? Okay.
Third. No, I'm just
Okay, we have a third. All we need is a fourth and a fifth, and we're done. No, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. All right, in your packet, you've got a Public Works truck request. And I think you'll note that it's a 2024 model year. And Jay, you explained to me the benefit of buying a brand new off the lot 2024 truck, which is 2 model years old. Can you elaborate a little bit?
Sure. And I also want to start with, I always start locally. We always go to Weingarten or Prince. 75% of our trucks are bought within Calvert County, but Waldorf had some, I call it old new stock, whatever. It was from the chip and circuit board shortage. I went down, physically saw the truck. It's fine. It saves us about $9,000. $9,000 is $9,000. Still, the warranty and everything starts from the date of purchase, so I have no problem with it. Keep in mind, it'll still be under budget, but as soon as we get the truck, we send it out to get it undercoated, snow plow rigged, and spreader rigged. So I'll come back with that, but it's still, everything's under budget. This is a planned purchase, and it's replacing a 2009 truck.
Okay, is there a motion for approval of the acquisition?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Jay.
council.
Okay, next item of business, Town Council to consider the approval of the Maryland Rural Water Association wastewater treatment plant operator apprenticeship program for plant trainees. You want to weigh in, Josh?
As I had said earlier, from my report, this is a program to work to train operators up to, or trainees up to become full operators, to give them all the knowledge they will need to be able to be well-trained operators, as opposed to just studying for the exam, having the knowledge to pass the exam, and that's it. They are going to go through 4,000 hours of on-the-job training, about 1,200 hours of online classes they need to complete. This is all under the mentorship of licensed operators at the plant, which right now will be myself and the assistant superintendent. Maryland Rural Water handles all of the program specifics. We communicate with them on a regular basis. Our job as mentors to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do and just confirming that the hours they're putting in are the actual hours that they completed. The program for an operator would be about $1,500 a year, but they are highly expecting to get grant funding for that. They've gotten grant funding for their existing water apprenticeship programs for water operators. The wastewater is a new program, so they need to put out for grant funding, and they're in the process of doing that. If they don't get the grant, we should be able to absorb that as part of our training that would have been for those operators anyways on an annual basis.
Okay, is there a motion for approval?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Josh. All right. We're on the last page. Town council to consider the expenditure of $13,275 from the treatment plant capital projects for differential pressure gauges from Miller Energy Incorporated. I actually have the authority to approve that expenditure without a vote of the council. But I'd be interested if any of the council members has an issue with that. I don't believe there would be. All right, so just consider that approved by the mayor. Okay, next. The next item of business is town council to approve appointment of Daniel Duval to the town council. And we heard from Colonel Martinez this evening. And in looking at the town code, I think that the council, and this may be more of a shortcoming in the charter than it is in the procedure that we're following tonight, because we are following the town's basic code and charter requirements. And it's very vague in the town code. And I'm just going to read this. The council has no charter or code requirements with respect to the filling of a council vacancy. The council was not obligated to follow any particular process in doing so. It was not even obligated to interview anyone. The procedure outlined was for the purpose of gathering information for the council's benefit, not for the benefit of the various candidates. And the council is the judge of whether they had enough information to make a decision they deemed to be in the best interest of the town. The council might reasonably deem the omission of a resume from one candidate immaterial to their decision. I know that's not what you want to hear, but that is where we are with the town code at the present time. And so it gives us pause and gives us thought. But I think given that that's the status of everything, and I hope this won't discourage you, sir, from stepping up in the future, because I think you've got a lot to offer, and I think that the town would benefit if you volunteered your services to the town. But in this particular case, I also want to say that in the past, when in my experience with the town council, which was a while ago, but I had 28 years experience before this term started, there were various methods that were used to choose a replacement councilman. And sometimes it was just the mayor saying, I want to do this. And so at least this process was, in my opinion, fair, because all of the applicants were heard, and the town council had the opportunity to ask questions. And so while you may not agree with the outcome, I think that the process was fair, but I do think that you point out that there's still room for improvement. And so at this point, I would appreciate it if someone on the council would make a motion to approve Dan Duval as our next council member.
If I could also just,
sure.
yeah.
Well,
let him-
can we get a motion in a second?
Yeah,
then you
motion
can
to
make a
approve.
comment?
I'll second.
motion to
Okay,
appoint.
now you can make your
Yeah,
comment.
I do want to call it because you did, Chris, bring up a really good point, and I've heard it a couple times around here is, did Dan Duval on the point of transparency, was Dan Duvall the nominee based off of the fact that he ran with a handful of us, myself included, right? And I will, being very open, told Dan in many conversations, to be clear that he does not have this in the bag, and he has some really tough competition out there. So, I would love to maybe, I won't disclose, I think, like, private conversations. I think that's maybe a little inappropriate. If somebody wants to ask me directly, I'll explain all my points of view. I'm more than happy to. I would love to give you some honest feedback and stuff of where we were. And I think that this council did really try hard to ensure that there was the fairness, especially like when it came to the process, like having all the candidates out here so they couldn't hear answers of anybody else, so they couldn't, capitalize on, I think you were like the second or third person to speak, so they don't capitalize on what you said and leverage it for their benefit. So that said, I do think there is some opportunity here in concurrence for you if we need to codify something into our charter, because it is extremely vague. Even if you look at it today, what we did last week was not actually a vote. It was a vote to say, this is the person this is our nominee for the vote today, which is the official vote that aligns with our charter. So I think we can definitely do some good work and I would actually say, like, hey, like, since you just went through this process, like, partner, I'll take lead on that too. Partner with me to make this better. We'll get after it.
And I would appreciate that, because I think that you bring a lot to the table. We constantly want to be making improvement. We want to do, there's nobody up here that doesn't want to do the right thing. And so, and this was so vague in previous times that my memory may be faulty on this, but I think in previous times that there were certain times when the mayor would just say, we need a replacement and I want this person to be it. And that was it. The council would vote to approve. But at any rate, I think that this is one spot in our code that could stand to be beefed up. And you've brought that to the front. So thank you for that. All right. At this, yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So, well, first of all, I do want to commend you, Mr. Mayor. I do think that the process that you set out is a good process.
You can also give the town administrator, she designed this, so you give her the credit, because I think it was the best we've ever had.
I thought it was a well-designed process. So thank you, Samelia and Mr. Mayor. I'm sure you had input. Yeah. All right. So the process is good. There's a lot of information here that we received from Mr. Martinez, and it's not. You're right. It's not in the charter, but it is in our process, and there was a violation of the process set out. So I really just I would like some time to deliberate and think about what was presented here today by Mr. Martinez. So in that spirit, I would make a motion to table so that we could further deliberate on the information that was provided and the situation that we're in, and and take this up again in 30 days, and just so we have time to digest what we've got here.
Is there a second? Is there a second to that motion? The motion dies for lack of a second. All right.
I want to make one clarifying point, because I do not think that there is a violation here. I do think that you brought up a very good point that it looks like there's a violation. However, and I see you shaking your head, sir. However, the violation being discussed is the resume, and in your piece here, there is a resume. And when I hire people, I get resumes in all kinds. I know, but I get resumes in all kinds of different formats. And whether it's the military style resume that you submitted, or it's a handwritten letter that says this is who I am, what was not codified in the process was the format requirements related to a resume. So I go back again, because our processes are not outlined. that we can do a better job. Whether at the end of the day, you can say that this is not a resume, but he did submit, and he was the first person to submit. I think it was literally the day after the announcement submitted this. I don't know if that's I wouldn't just go as far as saying it's a violation. I think you could say you need to assess if that's
Yeah.
what you want to do, but you just made a statement saying that it is a violation without actually.
Because it doesn't specify that it needs to be separated. So you could provide your contact information and resume on the same page and your statement of interest, which it looks like that's kind of what this is. And I think his resume, part of his resume was the fact that he only lost by 3 votes and the town wanted to see Dan up here. So, yeah, I'm with Jamie on this one.
All right. Any other comments?
I do. I have a comment. It is indeed a gray area. It's a good point, and it gave me pause to think about it for a moment, because if it was definitively a thing where we necessitated that it had to be separated, then we would have to look at that. But we also just asked the question about what if we don't listen to the CAC? We also just asked the question about do we need to make sure that things are grammatically direct for code enforcement? And if this is gray, if this is not definitive, then it's going to be a waste of our time acting on it right now. We need to go back, fix it, and if it ever happens again, then it's going to be definitive and in place. Right now, it is not, so we cannot go after it for being a violation. And we also have to be very deliberate about what's happening here. Yeah, Dan did lose by 3 votes. I actually thought about stepping down to let Dan go ahead and move forward. I've met with Chris. I think Chris is a great guy. I met with Dan. I told Dan, hey, there's people out here that I think might be better suited. And you're just going to have to deal with what happens that day. It was not in the bag for him at all. I know people on social media say things. I mean, they say we're yuppies. Do I even give off a yuppie flair? No. So, Mongoose 256 said whatever he felt that day, and then he went back with his thumbs and did whatever else he does in the house. So we can't listen to those things. We have to be upfront about making sure in the future we don't have these mistakes, but we also can't trip up over perception and not do the work that's needed to move forward. Right now, if we deliberate, if we take any time off, we're just tripping up over perception. The bottom line is we did this. If we have to do it over, then we need to do it over from the beginning, not from just the 2 final votes. We would have to do it over from the beginning. Does everybody get a chance to sit down with each council member and have a conversation? Is that fair for everybody to do that? Because if everybody didn't do that, then there's an unfairness there, right? So we have to think about this in totality, not in just this one specific small instance. I commend you for stepping up. I think your kids did a great job helping you out. I hope they got a good treat tonight for being here for you. And I would love to work with you in the future. I already reached out to you. I think that you're a great candidate. There's some other people who were great candidates that I'm planning on reaching out to. But it's time to move forward. Dan did win the votes that night, and it's time to vote.
Any other comments before we vote? All right. All in favor of approving the appointment of Dan Duval to the town council signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, the motion passes. Congratulations. You can come up and take your empty seat here.
Congratulations, Dan.
Yeah, I got to swear you
You
in.
gotta be sworn.
Where is that? It's here somewhere. Hang on a second. Yeah, the heck. Yeah, it's in this pile somewhere. Just stay right there. Let's do it by heart. Dan. Yeah. It's here in the pile. Yeah, but what am I gonna do? Walk out there with your computer?
They changed their mind, Dan. Go back and sit down.
It's the last page. Ready for that? Yep. Dan Duval, you swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, and I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland, and support the Constitution and laws thereof, and that I will, to the best of my skill and judgment, diligently and faithfully, without partiality or prejudice, execute the office of town council member according to the Constitution and the laws of the state. Congratulations. Would you like to share those pictures with me? Thank you. And thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you for the time in the beginning.
And
That's a lot of time for public
And
comment.
I want to talk to you afterwards.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
All right. I think we got one more thing on the agenda called the lightning round. Let's start with Dan.
Oh, I'm on the spot.
You're on the spot, Dan. Yeah, I bet he can figure it out. Now, look, if you've got more than 20 pages there, it's not going to fly. Just keep that in mind.
I'd just like to thank everybody. I would like to thank everybody in the town who voted in the past election. And I'd like to point out that the 3 votes that I was short were given, I had 4 votes here. And that number is 1 vote. When everybody says how important votes are and 1 vote doesn't matter, I think that symbolizes the importance of your single vote. And hopefully this process will encourage everyone to vote. We have a very high voter turnout in our town, but it could always be better. And I thank everybody, and I'm honored to work alongside each and every one in the town and be in service to the town of Chesapeake Beach and the community. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Jamie.
The only thing I would just add for the lightning round is, again, I appreciate all the support with the Kelms Field and all the different committees up here. I know I wanted to call out that we are working diligently behind the scenes on the water and sewer rates. The calculator, I've already asked probably like 55 questions in the last, like, in my head the last day and a half, trying to navigate it and come up with some options and stuff. So excited to work with the town and figure that out. And hopefully by this upcoming council session, maybe not this one because we have the water park and that's going to take a very long time, but we get to a point where we can really drive this home and get this across the finish line by the end of this year.
Well, you stole my thunder. I was basically I was going to say the same thing about the water rates. I know that's a big issue for everybody, and we received the report, and we're making progress. And I think everybody's looking at the tool and asking questions and trying to figure out, how we can move forward with reasonable rates for everyone. And so I just want to let everybody know that we're working on it, and I believe that we'll get there. I believe this council will get there.
All right. I just want to add that I'm very pleased with the progress we're making in all aspects, and my family and I really enjoy the town events that go on, and I'd love to see more people out there. I think we have one more Summer Nights Festival. Is that right? Yeah, those are awesome. Thank you.
All right.
So I'm glad we finally have a lightning round. It was a surprise, so I don't have a lightning round comment prepared, but I would like to.
I bet you could come up with something.
I'm trying. I'd like to congratulate Dan. I think you're going to be great on council, and I'm excited to move forward and I'm excited for the water park conversations.
Absolutely.
I know that Chesapeake Beach is in a place of healing right now and moving forward and progressing. And I think that not only the council, but the people who are showing up, the people who are putting the work in are a part of that healing process. We've had a bit of an identity crisis trying to figure out if we're a small town or a resort town. But we're finding where we can balance that out. And to me, balance is really important. That was the one thing that I ran on. That's what I wanted to sit up here for, to make sure that voices that are normally not in the room are in the room and being heard. I appreciate everybody on this council being open to that, listening to it, and being in agreement with being a part of that process. I think we are doing a great job. I don't think there's going to be a lot of people who walk up to us and tell us that. But, you know, most of them have no idea we even up here. But we are doing a great job. I don't play tennis, but I get excited when I see the tennis court straight. You know what I mean? I never really went to the water park, but I'm excited about the water park getting there. I'm excited about what we're doing and what we're getting done. And I want to commend our workers, Jay, Josh, you guys are doing a great job. And I'm happy to be a part of this process. I thought it might suck doing this, but you guys proved me wrong. Thank you.
That was an interesting way to wrap it up.
That's how you wrap it up.
And before 9 o'clock, so that's good.
Well, but I've got about 15 minutes. Oh, no, I'm not going to do that.
Got public comments.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. Did I skip public comment? Okay. But let me also add, in this lightning round, the water rates, you know, this council, and especially led by Jamie's leadership, working with the consultant, I think has done a really, really good job of building a model that we can use to understand exactly what affects everything. And I've seen it in action, and and you're getting a lot more skilled at making tweaks at it. But the vendor that provided it to us, you know, we'll have a meeting and we'll ask him a question and he'll hit something on the spreadsheet and boom, you can instantly see the changes throughout the whole thing. It's very valuable. I think this is money well spent by this council to hire that consultant. But the one thing that jumps out at me, and I don't know if I should mention this or not, but I'm about to, what you and I talked about just before the meeting, is that all of the expenses that go into the utility fund are, you know, you take that and you divide it up and that's what you're paying for. And the thing that caused the huge rate increase by the previous administration that took place last year was the transfer of a whole bunch of salaries that had traditionally been in the general fund into the utility fund. And so that's what did it. And no matter what we do, if we don't change that, the utility rates are not going to come down. It might be jiggered around differently, you know, for different usages and so forth and so on, but you still have to have the same amount of money. So at any rate, that I just wanted to throw that out there. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I did, because that's what we're facing. And this council has been diligent in hiring that consultant and working with that consultant. And Jamie's leadership, he's got so many different variations of the utility rate on his computer, it's hard to believe. And if you want to say anything in comment to that, in response to that, you're welcome.
No,
to.
you had just asked for us to be reminded on a specific piece, and it was that every council member needs to think through how they want to approach the employees going into the utility fund versus the general fund. So each person needs to come prepared with their opinion and perspectives. I know, Lori, I'm looking right at you. I know, and Eric, I'm looking right at you. We have the two spectrums, right? One is everybody, one is nobody. So at the end of the day, it's on us six plus the mayor
And
to
it-
figure out the resolution of that.
Yeah, and that's going to be a tough decision. And Samelia wants to add something.
And so to help with that, I've been working to design a timekeeping study so that you'll have real input into how much time goes into each staff person who's supporting the fund.
That's great. Actual operating costs.
Yes.
is
Yes.
Outstanding.
Yes, go
I
ahead,
don't
John.
Be too long on this, but
Okay, you're done.
when can we play with that model?
Well, everybody has the model.
It was
But it is a little complicated. I know some of the folks are getting trained on staff, but I'm actually going to send Samelia and Mike a note back to collapse it a little bit because it's like 15 or 17 tabs, and each tab impacts a different tab that impacts something
It's really
else. So
complicated.
yeah, so I played with it, but I do think that there's a way we can ask them, and I already have it kind of formulated in a draft email to ask them to make it simplified so that everybody, we toss out to the town.
and it was set to read only for me. So
So you got to hit enable.
I've never seen this model yet.
Oh,
I don't want to play with it. If you guys come up.
He's got it right there on the computer.
A-
I mean, all you gotta do is walk over there once we adjourn.
Support that? Not play with it?
public
Real
comment.
operating costs.
Public comment, huh? Public comment. Anybody else in the public have anything else they want to say? Well, please come up. It's nice to see you tonight. I'm glad you put up with us for 2.5 hours.
Yes, you owe me. It's a sacrifice. Cheryl Henley, 19 15th Street, Chesapeake Beach. I'd just like to congratulate Dan on being our newest council member, and I wish him great success in his tenure. And thank you, council, and mayor and staff for all that you do. We really appreciate it. We may not say it enough, but we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Cheryl, yeah, that's music to my ears. Thank you so much. Anybody else? No other public comment? Any closing comments, Commissioner? Okay, thank you. Well, I think there's only one thing left.
Motion.
Adjournment?
Motion to adjourn. Dan got it.
Well, if we all said it at
Second.
once, does that mean?
I'll let Dan have that one.
There a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you all for being here. This was a good meeting. We covered a lot of difficult topics and we got through it. And council, I truly appreciate your efforts, all of you.
There's always a surprise, isn't it?
Let's do it.
But it's facing down for the better. Yeah. Yeah. How about those three times?